The time has come to finish off this design. This is where we left it off last time, and now it's finally time to complete all the horns and connect it up with the body, create the legs, and get it printed. Let's get into it. So I was thinking of adding these little creases to the front lip, but I decided it made my little dragon look a little bit too old. So I decided just to keep it pretty plain. Now, I will admit, I think I spent maybe 15 to 20 minutes trying to get these back horns looking something like I wanted them, and it just wasn't working for me. I'm still probably not really happy with them, but I told myself that it'll have to do. It doesn't have to be perfect, which was, I tell you what, harder than it should have been. So I'm just kind of trying to give them a little bit of volume and make sure they're either 45 degrees or like a higher angle, so when it does get 3D printed that they actually print. Now I'm using the masking tool on and off here just because I liked the look of one horn but not the others, and I didn't really want to affect the other ones. And yeah, as you can see, I just am not happy with them. Anyway, I leave them be and start on the top horns of our dragon, and I just want to kind of add in a little bit of skin creases, so I'm adding a little bit of extra some layers there and reshaping the horns. Now I'm really mindful that this angle is quite steep for a 3D printer, so we might get a little bit of sagging when we print it, but I'm just not really gonna worry about it too much until it actually gets to that, because we're printing an articulated model, we don't really want to be using supports. Anyway, you can see I'm using the flattening tool here just to kind of make them look a little bit more like hard spikes, and then I'm kind of finishing the back up with some more spikes. And again, always looking from every single direction, because when you drag out these horns, you just don't know which direction they're going in. And you can see I've got a lot of extra space under those top horns, and I really don't want that to become an issue when I'm 3D printing, so I'm just putting a little bit extra material in there to kind of help support that. Now it's time to add the little bits of like skin where our horns connect, and it gets a little bit pixelated, so I remesh it there, and then it looks all really good again. All right. So you also will notice that I am only really focusing on the one side. Again, that's that mirror tool. It is amazing. So make sure when you are doing something that you're going to be doing the same on both sides, that you're using that mirror tool. Now I've got the nostrils, kind of something that I quite like, and I'm pretty happy with how this is going so far. It's time to try and add in our eyes. And this is where I realized that it's going to be a little bit harder than I thought, because I haven't really got the face of my dragon in the right direction for the mirroring tool, which has kind of stuffed me around a little bit. So I've had to do a little bit of rejigging here, and I didn't really think to make the local the model here, which I probably should have, but that's okay. We got there in the end, and I'm pretty happy with how the eyes are coming out. Now I did decide to duplicate this layer and create kind of like a inner eyelid of like a lizard that you might see, because I think it just adds that little bit extra detail in there. Whether we'll see it in the 3D print or not, I'm not too sure, but basically I just created a duplicate of those eyes, made one of them a little bit bigger, and then just carved away a bit of material. And then I've grouped all of them, so I've voxel merged everything, so now it is one single object. If you were to export this, it is really high poly. What that means is the mesh has lots and lots and lots and lots of little triangles, lots of vertices, that it will be really, really a big model to load. Your slicer will probably crash. So you can see there I actually went the wrong way and I subdivided, which gave it even more mesh. But what we want to do is we want to decimate. So we select our model, and you can see all the grey vertices there, and I'm going to put it to 50%. So let's see, it might take a little longer here. If you've got a slower device, it will take a bit longer for this to happen. You notice that you don't really lose much detail in that first decimation, so I'm going to decimate again and let's see what the wire is going to look like. It still looks pretty crowded, and that's still lots and lots of vertices. Again, a very big model. It's going to slow down your software. So let's decimate again. As you can see, we can start finally seeing a bit of a difference in that mesh. We've got a lot less polygons that we're going to be working with here, but I'm still not seeing any loss in detail, and the smaller model that I can make it, the better for our slicer programs. I did notice that I've got a little bit of a weird kind of eyelid going on there, and just wanted to add a bit more material because I don't want it to be any thin at all or flimsy. So I went in and I changed that before I decimate for the last time. All right, decimated one more time. Still pretty good detail. Like, I'm pretty happy with the detail still that I'm getting. And the file is going to be a lot smaller and easy to print. And this was our final result. So I haven't added in the articulated parts on the back. I'm going to stick this back in Tinkercad and add in those because I know I can be much more accurate in that parametric software. Stay tuned for the print. Just have to model the arms and then we're ready for printing. And as always, don't forget to let me know what you think in the comments below and like and follow because you won't want to miss what I'm sculpting or printing next.